Hello and welcome to Cali Legends Media. Okay, I'm going to get right into this video. It's regarding the podcast that a young Chicano was on. It was No Jumper broadcast where they had a female on there, Hellcat, I believe she went by. And she got on this young Chicano dude and started capping on him, talking about he looked like George Lopez and he's going to get her family to get him and his family to clean their house and sweep their house and do their yard. And I think she called him a taco head and, you know, a bunch of dumb shit. YouTube's been very rife with racism. Okay, I haven't been involved with YouTube that long, but the time that I've spent on YouTube, there's been a lot of racism on there. And over the smallest things, the black so-called racism, you know, this, I'm going to give you an example, okay, with P-Face. P-Face is a young Chicano rapper, okay. Back when he was 12 years old, he made some comments and stuff. He was just a boy. His opinions have since changed and stuff. He tried to make that clear on YouTube. He didn't have to. He wasn't encouraged to. On his own, he stated that he was a very young man back then, and you know, he said what he said because what was being said about his race, okay? So now No Jumper gets his girl, who I guess was like a co-host that day, and she started talking all this madness, right? And not once through the podcast did any of the brothers there tell her to cool her jets, to relax, you know, that wasn't the place for all of that. But she went ahead and she expressed her opinion, and that's her opinion of Mexicans. She comes from a part of the United States that is very racially divided, okay? I'll put it that way. And for all we know, she was brought up with that mentality. And I think a lot of brothers are brought up with that mentality. You know, they went through slavery, they went through persecutions, even back in the 60s, you know, they were still, I forgot what it's called, but they were separating the kids from school, sending black kids to one school, Mexicans to other school, whites to one school, to integrate, you know, the schools. And I don't think they realize that even the Mexicans have gone through mistreatment and have seen a bit of attacks by the government regarding race. You know, trying to put us in special schools and stuff because they thought we were slow, you know, giving us classes that would get us jobs, menial jobs, like janitors, trashmen, stuff like that. And the higher education given to the white kids, you know. It was very hard to go to school outside of your school district. And it was designed that way, you know. But I see it a lot since I've been on YouTube. And it seems just like a bunch of whining, you know. You really won't hear any of us talking about it unless it's brought up by one of the brothers. You know what I mean? They have to bring it up, and you know, like this thing with this girl on No Jumper. All of those young dudes on that podcast had plenty of time to talk to her, even take her off and let her know what's up, you know, that we don't get down like that over here. They don't know or understand the way it is down here in LA. It's different. Like, it's a fine line right now between peace and war with the Mexicans and the blacks. It really is, especially what's going on with Longo and the Crips. You know, they're full on right now. Allegedly, there's been 5 people that have fallen behind this warfare within 4 or 5 days. You know, it's gotten severe. You know, and people are losing their lives, and that's what's important. So sniveling about some little thing on YouTube, you know, I guess everybody was complaining about. Dude got back at her, telling her, well, what if I, because she couldn't see where she was being racist. So the young dude, his name's Bo, got back at her and told her, hey, what if I asked you where the best fried chicken place is? You know, that it's not really racist, but in a sense, it's alluding to blacks eating chickens. Or where do they grow the best watermelons? You know, it's not something that you would generally say to a black person, you know, because they may get offended. So that whole conversation should have been cut short, but nobody did nothing. You know, No Jumper's famous for trying to turn everything into content, even if it's negative. Even no matter what beef it starts, you know. And you know, the homies aren't gonna let P-Face go down like that. He was a 12-year-old kid. Yeah, nobody's beating that boy up. Nobody's putting hands on him or anything, even if he wants to run fades or whatever. I mean, it's not up to me, but I don't think that his homies should allow him to go through that. I don't think it would be an appropriate thing to get down with somebody, possibly turn into something bigger, which I'm sure it will, over a 12-year-old kid saying something, you know. And No Jumper goes as far as getting this 30-year-old woman to come on his podcast and doesn't keep the people in line as to what's allowed to speak about and speak on and what's not, you know. We could moan and bitch and complain all day long. It's not going to do any good. We have to ourselves see the value in turning things into a big thing. Like, how important is it really, you know? And I don't mean just a couple of guys, you know, that don't like what's being said on either side, whether it be the Mexican side or the black side. I'm talking about just in general. A life could be lost, or a life could be lost in prison, and a career could be lost, you know, a family member. You know, it's not, this is nothing to fuck around with or to joke around with, you know? And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It pisses me off every time I hear somebody bitching over some penny ass shit, like a 12-year-old kid saying something when he was a little, and now he's a grown ass man, you know. So yeah, I have a big problem with that. Anyways, I think it's ridiculous. Everybody's kind of like diving into this situation like it's something that is worthy of even talking about. It's not. The girl, as soon as the podcast was over, jumped on a bus and boned down to Texas. I'm sure there's enough being said over the internet to take care of the situation for the next time she comes down, because I'm sure she'll be back. And if she can't handle being around Mexicans, then maybe she shouldn't be called, to be on a podcast. But I'm sure, what's that jackass name? Adam 16, he don't give a shit. He don't care what kind of division he causes, what kind of problems he causes. It takes a lot for to bring peace and unity, especially among two different races that are warring in some parts of the city here. And I'm not just saying warring, I'm talking about with loss of life, because there's already been allegedly a lot of bodies that have fallen. One's a lot, one's too many. But there's been more than that, and that's all bad. People are being lost on both sides. So that's completely a separate issue. That's some gang activity that's been going on in Long Beach and has gotten worse lately. But this stuff like this, with somebody just running off at the mouth, with a whole cast of people that could turn around and say, hey, relax. Hey, this ain't the place for that. Nobody did shit, so nobody should complain. It was handled the way it was handled between the two individuals, and that's the way it should just be left alone. There's people jumping on YouTube saying, oh yeah, something's got to be done, and nah, miss me with all that. I can't call that shot, but for the people and the players involved, just know, man, that this is just all a bunch of whining and crying and complaining, because there's nothing really to talk about. Girl got out of hand. Dude said something when he was 12 years old. Let's grow up, people. Let's pay attention to what's important. I've been to different places, clubs, everywhere, cruises, different activities, where I noticed that the blacks are acting a little different. Not the older ones. The older ones are acting cool, man. They're respectful. They're considerate. But the young ones are going in with attitude. They're already tripping. I recommend that everybody just knock it off, chill out, and let's do life, man. Stay free. Stay out from behind them walls. Stay out from behind them prison bars, especially over petty ass shit. These two people said what they said, and everybody knows what was right and what was wrong there. It doesn't take, it's not rocket science. The people, the public knows, the audience knows who's out of line, and if you listen and pay attention, maybe you'll learn what everybody thinks. And what one or two person thinks really doesn't matter for shit. I guess somebody said, oh yeah, all them people on that podcast that didn't that let this young kid disrespect this 30-year-old black woman, they should have held them back, held them down, or I don't know how they stated it. But What they should have done was talk to that lady and told her, hey, watch your mouth, relax. We don't do that here. But nobody spoke up. Because it's all about views, and it's not about peace or getting along or living together, man. And that's what's important. If you don't get it, then it could go wherever it can go. You know what I mean? And it will. I know. I've seen it happen. You know, it was more than just some petty ass words that took us there, but I've seen it happen. You guys got to get at these stupid people on these podcasts that want to blow shit up and want to, you know, take things somewhere that we don't need to go there. You know what I mean? When the time comes, everybody will recognize that fuck no, it's on and cracking. But this ain't the time. This is just some foolishness. So people that don't think right. That little girl was fucked up in her mind and in her thinking, and what she felt towards other people of melanin color, man. You know, and that's all that's taking place there. And P-Face, hey, dude was a little kid, man. You know, think about it. Anyways, this is my video for today. I seen too much of it on the screen. I had to speak on it and give my opinion. You know, I keep it straight out, raw, and as honest as I can be, and based on experience and my past life. And yeah, I've been through this before. You know, when there was a green light and it was really on and cracking, and lives were really being lost on both sides, and it was nothing nice, you know. So some little girl who's mixed up in her brain, we can't allow her to cause something like that, you know. Or what a couple of people feel that should have been done when that was taking place. We can't let that cloud our minds, man. We got to stay focused on the real stuff that's important. And that's man, there's all kinds of blacks living here. Not a lot don't live here in East LA, but there are families that live here. You know, think about them. What would happen if there was a blanket green light? It'd be worthless warfare that's not necessary. So all you people that are on here talking all this high power shit, relax, man. Tone it down. Pay attention to what's happening, you know. Anyway, this is my video for today. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and thank you for watching. Really appreciate it.